No more sticks, no more spears, no more harmless phosphorescence! Hello everyone, this is Thoreau Smiley and I have special glasses now. Who's joining me this week?
I'm Josh Cece, and if we do not fight to the death, Kurt, they will kill us both.
I'm Brian Lesh, but you may know me as... Who the fuck are you?
A child stumbling in the dark. I'm Alaric Weber.
And this is Harmless Phosphorescence. It's the podcast where we watch every theatrically released full-length live-action superhero movie ever made. We gather some research into the production and the source material, and we tell you all about it. This show is brought to you by our patrons like executive producers Michael Beckwith and Atticus Burkett. You can be a patron too. Just head over to patreon.com/harmlessentertainment. We've got lots of bonus content there. We do monthly movies. It's only $1 a month to get started on that bad boy. And this month we're going to be bringing Point Break to you. So head over patreon.com/harmless entertainment. This week, though, on Harmless Phosphorescence, we are going to be watching X-Men Apocalypse.
Things are better. The world is better.
Just because there's not a war doesn't mean there's peace. He's coming.
Some call him Apocalypse. He was some kind of god. For thousands of years, he's been amassing mutants to take their powers. He always had 4 followers.
Like the 4 horsemen.
Eric, don't join them.
Whatever it is you think you saw in me, I buried it with my family.
Together, we will cleanse the earth.
Everything they've built will fall! And from the ashes of their world, we'll build a better one!
I've never felt power like this before.
They took him. Raven, the world needs the X-Men.
I'm not a hero.
Students look up to you.
If I'm going to teach your kids something, I'm going to teach them how to fight. Follow me.
To her.
I'm not afraid of him. Magneto, he's my father.
What?
Him and my mom, they did.
No, I know.
Not all of us can control our powers.
Then don't.
Apocalypse means to destroy this world.
It's all of us against a god. And the most powerful beings on earth.
Forget everything you think you know. None of that matters. You're not students anymore.
I'll take everything from them.
You're X-Men. Well, you've been busy.
We had a little help.
X-Men Apocalypse! Released May 27th, 2016. With a running time of 144 minutes, it cost $178 million and took in $543.9 million. So it was a hit, but not a runaway hit.
Thoreau, I'm sorry, I just can't get over that you're sitting in front of Cerebro.
Have you ever felt power like this before?
Yes, once.
Because Chuck has felt it over and over, but he loves to say it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I have, but I generally keep that in my private life.
I've never felt power. Okay.
Oh God, yeah. X-Men Apocalypse. it did all right, but it was a little bit of a disappointment at the box office. But that does bring us, in fact, to the box office top 10 game. This is the game where I will describe the movies of the week of May 27th, 2016, using the box office emoji descriptions, except where I don't. Well, then the guys here are going to try to guess what. God damn it, Al. I'm going to try to guess what movie I'm describing. Or Brian. Sorry, Brian. For all of our at-home people in the private chat, Brian just asked if Josh was broadcasting straight from the toilet.
Yeah. The answer is yes.
He does every week.
That is clearly a shower curtain.
That's right. It is, yeah.
It was right.
Game of Thrones.
So, all right. You guys ready to play the box office top 10?
And I think I just heard Andrea laughing live from the other room.
You did.
I'm ready to play the game.
Yeah, let's get into it.
We should do a side game. Which of these movies did Josh poop during?
The first time I watched, or
in the theater, obviously. Well, the theater bathroom, I hope, but
yeah, I'm trying to get my own Rotten Tomatoes thing going. Two turds, 3. All right, I'm sorry.
So all right, let's see. Some of these we've talked about before, since 2016 had a glut of superhero movies. So I'm going to skip around. Opening at number 18. Oh, wow. I have no idea what this is. Anand and Anasaya meet each other on a train ride. The two eventually fall in love and have to fight for their relationship.
Are we supposed
Did
to
you
know
just pick 18 at random?
Yeah.
It's opening this week.
Oh, okay.
And there's
Opening
a
at
lot
number
of
18.
Yeah. Who do they have to fight to save their relationship?
Everyone on the train?
Anand and Anastasia?
Anand and Anasoya.
Anasoya.
I have never heard of this. I doubt you guys have.
Murder on the Orient Express?
It's called A space AA. It's the title of this film.
Wonder how many people put it on expecting to see like car repair information.
Right.
Wouldn't it be
the AAA movie?
Yeah. So, Batman v Superman. This is about 2 months after its release. Is at number 15, which is interesting because at number 10 we still have Zootopia, which opened before that.
Wow.
Zootopia was big.
Yeah.
It was. I had no furries, man.
Yeah. They come out for it, I guess.
There's not a lot of product for them yet.
And a tasty juice drink.
True. Yeah. Do you remember? Isn't that what that was called?
Fruitopia.
Oh, Fruitopia.
I'd like to see a Zootopia sequel called Fruitopia. That's the same kind of idea, but with fruit instead of animals. Like there's a bunch of grapes that has to fight crime.
Didn't Seth Rogen make a movie like that?
Sausage Party.
Yeah.
Which was super violent and sexual.
Oh my God.
It was
Hard
uncomfortable.
R.
Yeah.
Hard R. Yeah. At number 9, Lady Susan Vernon takes up temporary residence at her in-laws' estate, and while there is determined to be a matchmaker for her daughter Frederica, and herself too, naturally. Wow. With Kate Beckinsale and I have no idea who
is this the matchmaker's daughter?
No, it's called
How to Lose My Interest in 10 Seconds.
I can't picture Kate Beckinsale outside of a Van Helsing outfit.
Yeah,
Right.
giant latex leather.
Yeah. But no. She's in full on bustle and Victorian hat.
Is
It's
it
called
Pride and Prejudice?
No, it's not Pride and Prejudice. It's Love and Friendship, which is
The other
opposite
Jane
of Pride.
Austen.
Yeah. Oh God.
Oof.
Coming in at number 8. Financial TV host Lee Gates and his producer Patty are put in an extreme situation when an irate investor takes them and their crew as hostage. We got a Clooney and a Roberts in this bad boy.
Wow.
That's George and Julia, by the way. Julia Clooney and George Roberts.
The title of the film is Another Movie I Missed.
Yeah.
The new batch.
The title of the film is Movies for Dads. It's called Money Monster.
Whoa.
Money Monster. At numbers, I said that like a Johnny Carson bit. Money Monster.
Money Monster.
Number 7. In 1970s Los Angeles, a mismatched pair of private eyes investigate a missing girl and the mysterious death of a porn star.
This is
Simon and Simon.
The Nice Guys.
Yeah, Russell Crowe and Ryan Gosling.
A Shane Black movie. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I watched it recently. It made me laugh quite a bit.
Yeah, great characters.
Number 6 we already had. It's about a kid and
the kid. I was gonna say the kid in that movie is the news host from all the Spider-Man movies.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
It's fun to see her actually act. I was really surprised because I was thinking of her as like reading newscaster lines. She's great in that as like a 12-year-old kid.
She was really good in the show on HBO with Kate Winslet, the mayor of Easttown.
Oh, I didn't even realize that was her.
She plays her daughter,
good.
and she's really good.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that was really good. Wow. Number 6 is A Kid in the Jungle.
Jungle Book.
Yeah.
Concrete Jungle.
Jungle, Kate and Alice. Number 5. When their new next door residents turn out to be a sorority even more debaucherous than the fraternity previously living there, Mac and Kelly team with their former enemy Teddy to bring the girls down.
Neighbors 2.
Yeah. The subtitle to that is Sorority Rising.
Skywalker. I don't know about the second. I don't know about the second one, but the first one was amusing.
I actually didn't see either of them.
Rose Byrne is a very talented comedian. She's in this movie, but anyway.
Yeah. So what are we on? Number 4. Political involvement in their affairs causes a rift between two friends.
MAGA, the movie.
Is this that Jon Stewart movie?
No. Any guess, Al?
No.
Captain America: Civil War.
Oh,
Still?
Yes. Still at number 4. It made $1.5 billion.
Wait. Say your description again.
Political involvement in their affairs causes a rift between two friends.
Okay. Yeah. Very good.
Number 3. When an island populated by happy flightless animals is visited.
You mean humans?
Happy feet?
Happy flightless animals. No, is visited by mysterious green pigs. It's up to 3 unlikely outcasts to figure out what they're up to.
Yeah.
Is this Angry Birds?
Angry Birds.
The Angry Birds movie, yes.
So other than birds, that description explains everything else out there. Flightless animals.
Flightless animal. Once I said, I was trying to avoid saying flightless birds because it was in the title. I was like,
it was a flightless rhinoceros. Very rare.
A featherless biped. At number 2. Opening this week at number 2. A young girl returns to a whimsical world and travels back in time to help her friend.
Wrinkle in Time.
No, that was that would fit it though, wouldn't it? That was a bad movie. I wanted to like it so much, but Wrinkle in Time was terrible.
Yeah.
I love the book. I just
Oh,
never watched
God.
the movie.
Yeah, no, I grew up reading the book and the sequels, but that movie that came out, what was it, 16, 17, whenever it came out, that was bad.
So she travels in time.
This is a Tim Burton joint.
And it's a sequel, you said.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's Alice in Wonderland. Return to
Through
Wonderland.
the Looking Glass? Or...
Alice Through the Looking Glass. Yeah, those are.
Oh.
Has Tim Burton made a good movie since like 2002?
No.
Not that I can recall.
What did he make in 2002?
The Big Fish. I thought Big Fish was pretty decent.
It was okay, but yeah, it was the tipping point. And then he did like Dark Shadows and
The
Weird.
Alice movies, Dumbo, like, yeah, I don't know. No thanks. And at number one this week, in the 1980s, teenagers fight Egyptians.
Stargate Class of 85.
Really accurate?
Well, teenagers fight an Egyptian.
Apocalypse.
X-Men Apocalypse.
Is it?
Yes, yeah. That's our last movie. Yes, it is. Yeah. The actual description is, in the 1980s, the X-Men must defeat an ancient, all-powerful mutant named Ensabah Nur, who intends to thrive through bringing destruction to the world. He intends to thrive. He's 30, flirty, and thriving.
They give his Egyptian name.
I know.
Who are you selling this to?
Subtitled How Apocalypse Got His Groove Back.
What did you make up for a weekend?
That is our box office top 10, which brings us to the character and comic book background, Mr. Alaric Weber. Please
But it
tell us.
actually is about how he got his groove back.
And then lost
He
it.
uses life force, but yeah.
Yeah. Comics. Hey, Apocalypse. He's from the comics.
Yeah. Hey, that guy.
Well, Apocalypse Now or Apocalypse Then?
Then
Apocalypse Now-ish.
1980-ish. 1986, in fact, June of 1986 was when we got our first glimpse of Apocalypse in X Factor number 5. Created by writer Louise Simonson and artist Jackson
Brown.
Guice? Jackson Guice? Guice? I don't know. It's like juice with a G. But anyway.
Jackson Juice with the G.
Juichi, maybe?
Jackson Juice would be a great name for some sort of film character, by the way.
Apocalypse got his first full appearance in X Factor number 6, July of 1986. X Factor was a reteaming of the original X-Men, Cyclops, Jean Grey, Beast, Iceman, and Angel. After the X-Men had branched out internationally, gotten all the others.
Well, yeah, after Giant Size.
Yeah,
Where they introduced all those
exactly
guys.
after Giant Size. Storm and Colossus and
Wolverine.
Yeah, all those. So yeah, X Factor brought the original team back together. The first 5 issues of X Factor were written by Bob Layton, who dropped hints of a villain operating behind the scenes and leading the Alliance of Evil. Layton intended this villain to be Daredevil villain The Owl. Yeah. The owl. Everybody remember the owl?
I kind of do. He had the same hairdo as Wolverine, which is very
He did. He did. Kind of like an owl. When Layton left the book and was replaced by Louise Simonson, editor Bob Harris communicated to Simonson that he wanted an A-list Magneto-level villain to up the stakes and give X Factor a reason to exist as a team again. Apocalypse was the first mutant, virtually immortal, and saw himself as the father of mutant kind. He lived by the credo of survival of the fittest, killing off the weak and forcing the survivors to grow stronger. The weak including most of non-mutant humankind.
The Muggles.
Right. Dang it. Okay, I can't find it. Apocalypse was a genius level intellect.
Super genius.
He had superhuman strength, speed, stamina, endurance, agility, and senses, could manipulate energy and matter, could fly, had telekinesis and telepathy and teleportation, and he had the ability to augment, manipulate, or steal the powers of other mutants and cosmic beings.
And he won the Great British Bake Off.
Yes, he did. With his lemon snickety. Sorry. I forgot that I wrote more. Apocalypse would routinely recruit 4 mutants willingly or forcibly to serve as his 4 horsemen. The first 20th century group included the Morlock Plague as pestilence, ex-soldier Abraham Lincoln Quiros as war, the anorexic Autumn Rolfson as famine, and saving a de-winged angel from an exploding plane would make Warren Worthington III his archangel of death, genetically altering him to turn his skin blue and giving him metal wings, which could cut through nearly anything and had projectile metal feathers.
So Angel is the only original of the 4 horsemen
to be seen in this movie.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm glad they dropped the anorexic Rolfson character.
Autumn Rolfson?
Yeah. That name really does not follow the comic book convention of like alliteration or rolling off the tongue in any way.
Well, it turns out she's the daughter of Rolf the dog. Why they didn't name her Autumn Rolf's daughter, I don't know. Instead of Rolf's son.
She's not German. That's totally a German name. Rolfson.
Norwegian.
Says you.
Says me. Apocalypse was the X Factor big bad for a while. Then they killed him at some point, and then he came back because he's freaking immortal and would wreak some more havoc here and there. He would pop up from time to time. They kept killing him. He kept coming back. He's nearly a god. I don't know.
It's okay.
Caliban, we saw in this movie, created by Chris Claremont and Dave Cockrum, first appeared in Uncanny X-Men number 148, August of 1981. He had the abilities to sense and track other mutants and to manipulate fear.
He's in Logan.
Yeah.
He's taking care of Professor.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, Stephen Merchant plays
him. Caliban became death of Apocalypse's horsemen after Archangel's defection from the group. So yeah, Archangel took off, kept his metal wings, and Caliban
Learned to
became the
fly.
new death. Learn to fly.
Again, he learned to live so free.
Yeah. Caliban, sadly underused in this film. Psylocke.
In this film, Caliban, I kept expecting him to be like, it's astounding. Time is fleeting.
Riff raff, totally.
Psylocke, created by Chris Claremont, first appeared in Captain Britain #8 back in December of 1976. The twin sister of Captain Britain himself, Brian Braddock. Her name was Betsy Braddock. Betsy was integrated into the X-Men franchise in 1986, officially adopting the codename Psylocke for her psychic abilities. In 1989, Betsy is kidnapped by the Hand. Everybody remember the Hand?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Brainwashed and physically altered to an East Asian appearance.
Oh, no.
So she could get into MIT easier?
Or?
I suppose. Yeah, so, yeah.
She was a big weeb.
She was the brother of Captain Britain, so I don't know. Probably very white with bad teeth. I'm sorry, Britain. I'm sorry.
It's not your fault, though.
I'm not sorry.
Yeah, I'm not sorry. Britain can take it.
Old bad joke. You can take it, Britain. In 1989, Betsy's kidnapped by the Hand, brainwashed, physically altered to an East Asian appearance. She becomes a master assassin with the new ability to focus her telepathic power into a psychic knife. In 1993, it was established that this was all the result of a body swap with the assassin Quanon. An East Asian assassin body swap.
80s X-Men was so crazy.
What was
Psylocke. Psylocke has been an established X-Men character for 30 years or more.
Mm-hmm.
She'd been around. So
that's all I got.
That's all right. Thank you, Al, for bringing us up to date on the background of our new guys, our new X-Men and women.
So delightful.
So that brings us to the production background. And the production background, too. This movie was once again directed by Brian Rapist Singer. It was written by Simon Kinberg, Brian Singer, Michael Dougherty, and Dan Harris. All people who we have spoken of previously.
Isn't Simon Kinberg the guy from Big Bang Theory? Proceed, I'll look it up.
Simon Kinberg?
Yeah.
I don't think so. Well, maybe. I don't know. We've talked about him quite a few times because he's done most of the X-Men ones.
Okay, he's not. Sorry for the interruption.
We have spoken about all of those writers before, so we don't need to bring anything new into this. Our cast, we have a lot of returning people. James McAvoy back as Professor X. Michael Fassbender back as Magneto, Jennifer Lawrence back as Mystique, Nicholas Hoult as Hank McCoy. He is delightful on The Great, by the way. If you're not watching The Great, you probably should.
The Grape?
The Great.
The Great, as in Catherine the Great.
Oh.
It's on Hulu.
Interesting.
Yeah. Oscar Isaac joins us as Apocalypse. We talked about him on our Star Wars podcast, available at patreon.com/harmlessentertainment. But we haven't spoken about him on this show before. His early films include Body of Lies, the 2010 Robin Hood. He was in Drive in 2011. Inside Llewyn Davis, he was great in that.
Yeah,
I can't picture him as a real person.
Ex
He's
Machina.
fantastic. He's a great actor.
Yeah, and of course, he was Poe in the sequel trilogy, Star Wars sequel trilogy.
Oh wait, what?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Him?
Poe Dameron, is that his name?
Yeah, Poe Dameron.
No shit.
Yeah,
You
Same
didn't
guy?
put that together, Al?
No,
Oh,
I did not
love
put
that
that
this is
together.
happening
God.
live, coming to
And
you
I'm
live.
with Brian. It's hilarious that they kept him his real size. They didn't even give him lifts or anything. You know,
Yeah, they put
supposed to be big.
They put Robert Downey Jr. in pumps the entire MCU. Like every time Tom Cruise is in a movie, they put him in pumps.
Yeah, I think Fassbender's taller than Isaac. Yeah, it was just.
Yeah, there are scenes where they're acting across from each other, and all I could think was, "Yeah, you're not tall enough. You're not tall enough for this. What is happening?" It's distracting immediately.
Yeah,
it really is.
It is. Andrea pointed out that Oscar Isaac is Guatemalan, so she's claiming him for the Latinos
In the race draft.
Yeah, yeah. We've got Rose Byrne back as Moira McTaggart. Evan Peters is Peter Maximoff. Josh Hellman as Colonel William Stryker. Sophie Turner, all those were returning. Sophie Turner comes on as Jean Grey. Sophie Turner. Her real name, I just now saw this, is Sophie Belinda Jonas.
Oh, she's married to a Jonas.
She's married to a Jonas brother? Is that right?
Yeah, Joe Jonas.
Okay. I was unaware of this.
So she was a Turner and now is a Jonas.
Okay. Oh, Nae Turner. Okay, yeah. Yeah, best known as Sansa Stark, of course, from Game of Thrones. Most of her work outside of the X-Men and Game of Thrones is not very well known. She was in something called Time Freak, something called Barely Lethal.
She's not very good.
Well, she's English and she does a terrible American accent.
She got great teeth, though.
Talking about.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
she does have great teeth.
Great on screen.
She was perfect as Sansa Stark.
Yeah, she was great
Maybe
there.
so.
She was not
Everybody's
good.
good at one thing.
She was not good in this.
Because that's what her character was. Because she was who the character was. Anyway.
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, I've never liked her.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I mean, she's not great as Jean Grey for sure. Ty Sheridan comes on as Scott Summers, Cyclops. Ty Sheridan, he's the dude from Ready Player One. Oh, he was in Tree of Life. Okay, that was his first movie. Was Tree of Life? Wow, what a first movie. Yeah, let's see. Oh, he was in the Stanford Prison Experiment in 2015.
I wish he was in the original one. That would be so
Oh God.
great.
Yeesh. Yeah, but Crow the Legend, which was a short film. We'll see him again in Deadpool 2 and Dark Phoenix. That's about it. He doesn't have a whole lot going on. Let's see. Lucas Till is back as Havoc. We have Cody Smith McGee as our new Nightcrawler. He was got to start in The Road. He was the kid in The Road, which is, I never need to watch that movie ever again. He was the voice of Paranorman. He was in Dawn of Planet of the Apes. Wow, I did not know this kid was that guy. Okay. Let's see. After this, he went on to be an Alpha. We'll see him again, of course, in Dark Phoenix. And he got nominated for a Golden Globe for The Power of the Dog. Ben Hardy as Angel. He was Roger Taylor in Bohemian Rhapsody. He's probably
That's
best
where I
known.
recognized him from. I couldn't stick where I saw him before.
What did Roger Taylor play in the band?
Drums.
Okay,
right?
thanks.
Yeah. He was.
I know Freddie Mercury and Brian May, and that's it.
Yeah, the other two guys are like, hey, the other two guys. We
I
got.
should watch the movie and figure it out.
I don't know. I don't think
It's not a good movie.
You can also read the liner notes on an album.
Exactly.
Yeah, and honestly,
I could do that.
Honestly, read the liner notes on an album and like watch the Bohemian Rhapsody music video, and you've gotten more than I got out of the movie.
Yeah, and just watch the live at Wembley Stadium, and you will enjoy yourself.
Yes,
far more. Yeah, absolutely.
And you also don't have to see what's his name's weird dental prosthesis.
Ugh.
I mean, I felt like he did a good job, but yeah.
Yeah, he was fine.
Bryan Singer, right? Bryan Singer? Oh no, he walked off set, but he was originally.
No. Bryan Singer directed, but then, like, that's right when all of his Me Too stuff was breaking. So he technically, he didn't remove his name, but like there was something with that.
The way I heard it was
or something.
Yeah, something. I don't know.
He said he had to leave set for a week or two to deal with some personal stuff, and he went to LA, and then he never came back to set.
I think maybe he was asked not to come back because of the Me Too stuff.
Sure.
I know there was something with Me Too during that period. I don't know how it all.
Oh yeah. It just occurred to me. Bryan Singer.
Yeah, absolutely, Bryan Singer. Let's see. Ben Hardy, probably best known as Peter Beale from EastEnders, at least for those Brits with their teeth.
Sorry, Britain.
Alexandra Shipp as Storm. Let's see. Alexandra Shipp she was she played Aaliyah in the Aaliyah 2014 biopic. She was in Straight Outta Compton, a crazy motherfucker named Alexandra Shipp.
That was a good movie.
I don't traffic too heavily in like Hollywood relationship rumors, but do you guys know about her and McAvoy? I guess he left his wife for this young woman.
Oh no!
During the making of this movie.
Oh,
I remember reading that, and yeah, it's made it really hard to like not just see that the whole time. I'm like, oh my god.
That's two examples because Mulaney left his wife for Olivia Munn. Who is
oh, that's right. Wow.
Good for them.
Those horse women will get you.
Yeah, we don't know why people.
Yeah. It was just really interesting. I was like, so during the filming of this movie, that happened. Holy shit!
Yeah.
Wow. She was also Susan in Tick Tick Boom. That was good. If you guys haven't seen that, if you are at all interested in musicals. She's from Phoenix. Anyway, so then we've got Olivia Munn as Psylocke. Let's see, she kind of got her start on a Attack of the Show and the Daily Show. The Daily Show is where I first saw her.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
She's hilarious.
She's a great
I think she
comic.
is so funny,
Yeah.
except for in this movie.
Yeah, she was kind of wasted in this movie, honestly. I don't know.
She has like 3 lines, and she looks mad the whole time.
Yeah, and like, I mean, go her for getting a paycheck, but like real wasted role.
I feel like everybody was underutilized.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Well, and it was still 2.5 hours long. I mean, this is a fucking movie. And Olivia Munn.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to mention The Newsroom, which I really liked.
Yes, she was in The Newsroom.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, she was one of the better parts, just with like the really dry, intelligent humor.
Mm-hmm. And rounding out the rest of the notable cast, we have Carolina Bartzak as Magda. That's Magneto's wife. She is best known for this, it seems. She additionally was the voice of Alfred Hedgehog in the Mysteries of Alfred Hedgehog.
All of that confused me.
Yeah, she was also, let's see, she was in Smurfs 2. Yeah, I don't know. She doesn't seem to have. Oh, she was in Moonfall. Huh. Did a lot of video game voice work, it looks like. Yeah, so, but mostly she's a hedgehog.
A non-Sonic breed.
Yes, of the non-sonic variety. This
Wait a minute.
I was like, she's not a real hedgehog.
He's about to break this case wide open.
No, I just discovered that Ali Sheedy was in this movie.
Oh yeah,
What?
she's the teacher.
Yeah, she's Scott's,
Oh my God,
Scott's teacher. I didn't even see it.
I did not.
Which there's a
recognize
funny
her.
point about her, but I'll wait. Yeah, that's her. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay, I did not recognize her. All right.
It was too quick.
Yeah. It was,
Yeah.
Anyway.
this movie has 47% on Rotten Tomatoes, and that is the end of the production and review notes. Guys, you ready to jump into the movie itself?
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you ready to jump into my mind?
Yeah, please.
Always, Al. Always.
Please trap me in this pyramid for a few hours.
Yeah.
Here we go. This is X-Men Apocalypse. We open with a voiceover from Professor X.
Yet again.
And another weird CGI tunnel DNA thing.
Oh, no. Wait. We'll get to
not
that.
DNA.
Egyptian.
Yeah.
Iconic.
It was a history tunnel.
Yeah, that's what we'll get to that. We're in Egypt first. We'll get
I guess
to
we
the
take the
tunnel.
history tunnel to the rest of the movie.
Yes. We start in Egypt. We have the whole thing where Apocalypse is being worshipped as a god pharaoh. He enters a pyramid.
3600 BCE. I thought that was interesting that they chose before Common Era instead of before Christ.
Yeah.
Oh, because this is an anti-Christian film, Al.
Yes. The mothers of America should boycott it.
I thought they loved the apocalypse. I thought they're gearing up.
They are.
They just never pictured him being tall and purple.
Yeah. But he's from the Middle East. It's a big misconception.
Ooh.
Well, technically, Egypt is Africa.
Fair
Yeah.
Which makes it even worse for them, I'm sure.
Geographically, Egypt is Africa.
Culturally, it's Middle East, basically. All right, he gets ambushed by some humans. They make the pyramid collapse. He gets saved by the chick who makes the rocks not fall on him.
That was our best pyramid.
We see him initially as an elderly Apocalypse.
Yeah.
He's all old and
lost his energy.
wrinkly. Yeah, he hasn't had his groove reinvigorated
For a while.
Yeah.
And those were his 3600 BCE horsemen.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
That were revered as Egyptian gods.
And were they his offspring? I mean, he's the first mutant.
I mean, who knows?
Yeah, did he genetically modify humans that were strong or something? Or did they exist?
Well, yeah, and then they find Oscar Isaac, and Oscar Isaac, they cut him and he heals, and they're like, all right, you're good. We'll stick you in him. But also, like, I just want to say right off the bat, the CGI in this movie seemed more like 2009 CGI than 2016.
Oh, there are moments in this movie where the seams just reveal themselves completely.
It was bad looking CGI.
Sometimes not so bad. Sometimes
not
really
always
bad. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah. It was very uneven. There were times when it was terrible.
Yeah.
Times when it was passable.
There were entire sequences that felt unfinished.
And I would point out that the chick that makes the force field that saves him from the rocks, she does that. The rocks fall on the force field. Then her force field goes away, and the rocks continue to not fall on him.
Oh, because they got all wedged up against each other, I assume.
Yeah, I guess. But it really didn't look like that. There were some right in the middle that were just on the force field.
Yep.
I don't know. The whole thing was sloppy as fuck. Sloppy movie. Sloppy, like, never mind. I was about to say something really offensive.
Sloppy like a Joe.
There you go, Al. All right. He is buried in the rubble and just takes a little nappy poo for a while.
Well, and he's now invulnerable, I guess, so he can heal forever.
Yeah, and just nap. Just nap. He's he's tuckered out.
So he uses a lot of powers in this movie. I just wanted to say first thing is he uses the consciousness transference, his ability to put himself into other people's bodies. That's the first power we ever see him use.
Mm-hmm. But he needs a device to do that.
Yeah, and the sun, apparently. The sun and the device.
And magic gold.
And a pinch of paprika.
Yeah, magic gold that's kind of vaguely in the shape of like a computer circuits.
Yeah, circuitry, totally.
Yeah.
And you got yourself from paprikash.
You got yourself a stew.
Baby.
Now we get the credit sequence. We travel through the history tunnel to 1983. We passed Nazis. We passed.
They literally showed a swastika and the hammer and sickle symbols, I guess, to show that we had been through these moments in X-Men movies, but it was really weird. Like, that's not the only way to show the Cold War and World War II.
And also, why a history tunnel? Why a goddamn history tunnel?
Why that sequence again? That's why I was comparing Singer to Snyder. Like, they're so unwilling to move at all from their stupid vision.
Well, yeah. And it's like he was like, tunnels are big when I made the first X-Men. I'm going to keep going with tunnels.
Just keep going with that. And a voiceover from Professor X.
Oh my God.
Every single time. It's like the pearls in Batman. It's like, we know, bro. It's like the sixth movie.
And it's always Professor X is always like, mutants, they do a thing and everyone doesn't like them. Who are we to say what is good and what is bad? Ooh.
It's like nature.
Sorry. Give them powers beyond imagination, and they may think they're meant to rule the world.
It's always gibberish bullshit that just vaguely kind of connects thematically to the movie.
It isn't deep, but it feels deep.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes. So after the credit sequence, we meet Scott Summers in high school. He apparently gets in trouble for keeping his eyes he gets in trouble for having ringworm or something. I don't know.
Pink eye.
Blinking.
Pink eye, yeah.
Pink eye.
He got a little bit of poop in there.
And that's what I was going to say about Ali Sheedy. She, Scott's like, can I go to the bathroom? And she sighs and is like, yes. And then you can go to the principal's office. And just as she finishes that sentence, the bell rings.
Yeah.
So everybody walks while she has him sit there for a second.
Yeah,
you know what I
wait
mean?
a minute.
It's like,
God
why are you
damn it.
punishing him? It's about to be over. It's just weird.
And he clearly is having some sort of physical distress about the eyes.
Yeah. He even says so.
Yeah. So so he goes in the bathroom and develops his eye beams.
I just want to say, as a teacher, every time someone says, "Can I go to the bathroom?" the answer is, "Of course."
Yeah.
Of course you can.
It's very weird, the power trip that comes along with it.
Yes. Why?
But do you hit him with the old, "Of course you can," but the question is, "May I?"
May I?
Fuck.
But yeah, if a kid who looks in distress and he asks to go wash his face to try to help this problem, yeah.
One of my favorite childhood memories is a classmate of mine who asked a teacher and they said, "No, you cannot." He just pissed in the trash can. He just got up while the teacher was talking. Peed in the trash can.
It's a bodily function.
Why would we ever police people's bodily functions? Like, go to the bathroom.
It's a great question, Thoreau. Why would we police people's bodily functions? Asking for an entire nation of women.
Yes.
Well, if anything, that's what public school is. Learning to stand in line, learning to ask permission, even to go to the bathroom, dealing with disappointment. Well, good, Al. I'm glad you're one of those teachers because, what an odd power trip. And it's like I get hall passes, but use them.
They're supposed to sign out their thing. I just get upset with them. It's like they keep asking. It's like, just fill out the paperwork and go.
Right. If you don't come back, we'll have a problem.
Yeah, that's when you have an issue.
Anyway.
Yeah, so all right, cut to Berlin. Mutant Fight Club. The first rule of Mutant Fight Club is that
electrify the fences.
Is apparently you can't. Apparently, Nightcrawler can't go through electric fences. So I guess he's fucked in a lot of places.
Oh yeah.
So this. I have so many questions about the Faraday cage and effects on mutant abilities. Are their abilities being transmitted to them from space or something? Because their abilities should work everywhere because it's in their genes.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's like Superman being cut off from the sun.
Yeah, like it's still inside them.
Yeah, and Nightcrawler even said that all he needs is to be able to see where he's blinking to. So why does the cage affect?
Well, okay, so I mean,
this is a huge bending of the rules of mutant abilities from the get-go.
Absolutely. And okay, so I mean, we've gotten used at this point to seeing superpowers being used in what's convenient for the plot and only in what's convenient for the plot, but this is one of the worst offenders we've had. People only use their powers when it's convenient for the plot, period. And I was constantly like, why didn't this person do that? Why didn't that person do that?
Right. And Bryan Singer has done this before. Mm-hmm. We've seen the people forcing mutants to fight. It was in the very first one with Wolverine. It's just like, what's that?
They were fighting. They weren't forcing.
He was fighting under his own accord, and no one knew he was a mutant until they killed him.
Okay, he wasn't in a cage, but he was reputable, and people came to challenge him. Well, I see what you're saying, Al, but what I mean is he's done this.
Yeah,
we've seen this kind of thing.
Well, I mean, this movie is nothing but trope upon trope upon trope.
His own tropes. That's what I mean with the Snyder thing.
His own, and lots of his own tropes that he's done a million times. Like he's playing his greatest hits here.
We do see the Blob. He doesn't speak or anything, but yeah.
Yep. We get the Blob, and I have so many questions about age. Well, okay, we'll get to it. All right, so anyways, so Mystique shows up and she rescues Nightcrawler and Angel. Angel gets his wing burned. Mystique and Nightcrawler leave together.
She rescues them by overpowering the fence.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Shorting it out.
Yeah, flipping the switch.
Well, she like cranked up the electricity on it.
She does a thing to a thing.
Yeah, it's so dumb because wouldn't that make their powers less useful? I don't know how this shit works in this movie at all.
I don't think anybody cared.
And it wasn't a cool way to exhibit her powers. She walks up to a guy and gets past a guy. We should have seen her do this to like half a dozen people.
Mm-hmm.
To really showcase that she is now future Mystique, that was super sly.
She could have pretended to be the ringmaster.
Yeah.
And, subtly shut it down.
Yeah, she could have done any number of things. So we cut to Poland. Magneto is in hiding. He works in a place with metal factory.
Smelting factory. I just want to say that if this movie was just Magneto and his story, it would have been fabulous. Everything about Magneto was so intriguing. Again, he's trying to hide and not use his powers, and once again, he's hunted. People he loves are killed. Yeah.
Is Magneto? Is he the only character with a complete arc?
In this, yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, there's a few other arcs, but I guess Mystique, you could argue, has an arc, but it's pretty weak.
Or the young X-Men.
Maybe Scott.
Yeah.
And Jean.
Storm.
And Magneto.
Magneto's is the most satisfying and the most captivating.
Yeah. But Storm's was really just a switch being flipped in her head of basically. You're my hero. I'm going to do what you do.
And she wasn't a queen. She was a street urchin.
Yes.
Thank you.
Who we did not see use her powers as a street urchin, right?
No, she did. She blew open a case.
Oh, okay. Okay, we
From-
did see her
from 2
use
feet
the wind.
away. From 2 feet away, she blew open like a box, which she could have just run up and opened with her hand anyways. So Magneto is in hiding. We cut to America. Scott Summers' brother Alex, Havoc, takes him to Professor X's school. He meets Jean Grey, Professor X, and Hank McCoy, Beast. They assess his powers and take him in.
Can we just
Sorry.
talk about the age of these characters?
Yes.
Because it
Thank
has
you.
been 10 years, and Havoc is now in his 40s, maybe 50s, 40s.
Because it would have been 20 years or so since First Class.
Yeah.
So he'd be 40.
Yes.
He looks 25.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
you can argue that they're mutants, they don't age, but we saw after the end of Days of Future Past that Logan went back to the changed future, so it is this future, and
Yeah.
everybody's old.
Yeah.
So they're going to have a real rough 20 years from 83 to like 2003.
And
It's all the
Havoc
cocaine.
Havoc is one thing. To me, Nicholas Hoult as Beast was the other
Right.
thing,
Yeah.
where he's supposed to be 50. He's supposed to be
Mhm.
Charles's age, which
Yeah.
I mean also makes Beast in the
Which-
original trilogy 70.
Right? But also Charles and Eric, and let's talk about Moira, because she's not a mutant at all.
Yeah.
And
Right.
they make she doesn't look a day older. Why
Why?
doesn't she? She's just
Yeah.
a human. Why does
Yes.
she not?
She's British. She aged well.
Well, it's like
I
Peggy
guess.
Carter. We see Peggy Carter age in an interesting visual way. Like you can see, like, oh, she's got some gray in her hair. Her hair is no longer dark. You know,
Yeah.
she's got a little bit of jowls. She's got a little bit of bags under her eyes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we don't know how old she is, but in the 60s, she's a full-fledged CIA agent.
In 1961, she has to be at least in her mid-20s at that point.
Yeah.
At that point, yeah, because you don't make it into the CIA at 18 unless you're like a killer assassin.
Right. So she has to be in her mid-40s now.
Yeah.
And at least mid-40s. And that's she looks in her 20s still. Like, it's ridiculous. The age thing in this drove me insane.
Yet Charles ages. They always show him a little bit older looking.
But does he? Because he's supposed, like, in 20 years he's going from that to Patrick Stewart. Like,
I mean, yeah, you're right. But like in this one, he seemed more like Dad Xavier. Like even his sweater and his hair.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But he still comes across as like 30.
True.
And in my mind, the dress was periodical. Like it was period specific, I should say. It fit the 80s, less than him being like a dad. Like, yeah, he could have been a 25-year-old dressed like that in the 80s too.
Yeah,
You
maybe
know,
it was the vibes you put off.
An intellectual 25-year-old, not like a punk or a mod or whatever.
I wanted to dip back for a second to Poland because right before we cut away from Poland, we saw Nina, Eric's daughter, communicating with animals.
Yeah, that's right.
Talking to the deer by the well.
By the well, yeah.
Yes.
Also, I called Scott and Jean's first encounter a meet not cute.
Yeah, it was not cute. It was the dumb. They literally just bump into each other. It's the dumbest thing ever. Laziest thing ever.
Well, and the shot of her losing her books and the papers, and she just gracefully picks them back up with her powers, looked so bad. It looked so bad. It made me think of Peter Parker in the original Spider-Man, where he catches all the food on the tray, and they did that practically. Like 50 times.
Yeah.
This shows how lazy the like creative shots were, because that's a creative idea.
It feels like a contractual movie.
Yeah, it does.
It feels like a movie someone was forced to make.
Yeah, just checking off a list.
Coming off of Days of Future Past, which I think is one of the best comic book movies ever made, and then they come to this horse shit, it just feels like even before Me Too, they were like, "Singer, you have to."
Yeah, yeah, no, everything about this movie is lazy.
I have a
We
point
cut-
on that, but I'll save it until we get there.
Okay, we cut to Cairo. Moira is undercover with the CIA. She infiltrates a cult that's discovered Apocalypse's tomb. The sun hits the special pyramid thingy and makes him wake up. He's all refreshed from his nap.
Because the cult followers never thought to just leave the blanket off of the stairwell when they went downstairs.
I have
need
some
to do this
questions
in the
about this
dark.
cult. Yeah, they've existed for now 5,000 years, almost.
Yeah,
more than 5,000 years.
Yeah,
and no,
30.
and no one has thought to go down this tunnel and just dig his ass out.
Just start digging. Yeah.
His followers, you're saying, were around
Yeah.
for 5,000 years? Yeah. Wow.
Because they have the same symbol tattooed on their necks as he had on the pyramid.
Yeah,
And
from 3600 BCE to 1990, 83? Was it 83?
Yeah, it's almost
83.
5,500 years. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And they knew they had a special incantation, so I guess that lines
Well,
up.
but
as
their
well.
incantation wasn't doing anything. It wasn't until the sun hit it that anything started to happen.
And it's also the dude's name. They're just saying his name.
Oh, is that what they're doing?
In Saba Nur. If you've ever read the comics, that's
It's
his
crazy.
comic book name.
Shit,
crazy that it's the
I'm
first
sorry.
time
I totally forgot that it was at the top of the page. The comic En Saba Nur.
Yeah.
The Marvel translation is the first one. The first one.
Mhm.
The actual Arabic translation is the morning light.
Huh.
So like
Which is
Lucifer,
the
I
devil.
guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's the idea.
So it's
So-
interesting that his name is Arabic and they're chanting in Arabic in 3600 BC
Yes.
in a
Yeah.
language
It is-
that won't exist for probably another 1,500 or in some form for at least another 1,500 to 3,000
Well,
years.
And it's
Interesting, yeah.
convenient that it was the first time the sun shone in Egypt.
On that day. Like, yeah.
That's
Yeah,
all it took. How
yeah.
did it not accidentally happen?
It was the blanket. They were just diligent about keeping the blanket over the staircase.
For 5,000.
Yeah,
Jeremy's going to kill me if I don't say anything, but it makes me think of Robert Downey Jr. in Tropic Thunder. Have you guys seen the behind the scenes shots of him where he's talking about how the Egyptians built the blanket or you built the pyramids using sound and a blanket? I kept thinking of that that whole sequence. They had a blanket.
Blanket.
So all right, the hole collapses in. Moira escapes. The cult members aren't so lucky. His waking up creates a psychic shockwave earthquake felt around the world, including in Poland, where Magneto saves a fellow worker from being crushed by a big metal thing. His co-workers are suspicious of him.
Did the psychic shockwave knock that big phantom or what was the movie, the Star Wars movie with all those big jugs of molten metal? Was that
episode 2? Yeah.
Genosha?
Yeah.
On Geonosis, yeah.
Yeah.
Geonosis.
Was that what caused that, or was that just a freak accident?
No, it was the earthquake.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
The earthquake caused by the psychic shockwaves.
Yeah.
Right. And once again, like I know humans are afraid of mutants, but it's like not even a moment of, yay, you saved his life. You know what I mean? People saw him act. And
Guess you're a good mutant. Like, yeah.
Right, exactly. It's like, nope, we got to hunt him down. Even the dude he saved.
Magneto has been on the run for a long time as the guy who potentially could have assassinated Nixon.
Nixon.
Well,
Since
and
the 70s
and assassinated Kennedy, sure.
But he didn't.
But he didn't.
But the world thinks he did.
Yeah.
But the world has been living with mutants now for 20 years, is what they say at one point in this movie.
Well, 10 years that they've been public.
Right,
Yeah.
because it was Magneto revealed himself in the 70s.
Yeah.
But yeah, exactly. So back in Westchester, Jean Grey is having some bad dreams. Professor X goes into her brain and we discover she's like super powerful and stuff, and she has a vision of apocalypse, and she's all afraid of being too powerful, yada yada yada, all that dark phoenix.
She feels a dark power growing inside.
A dark bird-like power. Professor X felt Apocalypse wake up, so he goes into Cerebro.
I was waiting for someone to say that's what she said, but
he sees Moira in Cairo and instantly doesn't investigate any further. He's going to go see her in Washington because he is thirsty.
Which I don't like. I don't like they characterized him as like, oh, I checked on her once. It's not creepy. I'm not a creep. Like,
Right.
Sure, Bryan Singer. None of this is creepy.
Nah. In Poland, Magneto wants to flee with his wife and child. This is what I'm talking about. This is another one of those tropes where it's like, we've got to get out. And the wife is like, this is our home. We can't leave. While they're furiously packing. Like, oh my God. Stop writing the scene, screenwriters. Stop writing that scene. So he's confronted by the local police. They have his daughter. He agrees to go with them if they let his family go. But his kid freaks out and she controls the birds. So both wife and child are accidentally killed in a tragic archery slip-up. So...
Despite how ridiculous it was, this was a truly heartbreaking scene.
It was.
I thought it was, yeah. I think the Magneto shit was compelling.
It was. The Magneto, I liked the Magneto stuff, but the ridiculousness of how he was holding that bow and how far it went through their bodies drove me nuts. Because you don't just he was holding it so loose and slack and barely pointing. It would have maybe gone an inch into her with that much slack on a bow. It's not like a gun. It doesn't fire or not. How far back you pull it, makes how fast and hard it goes change.
You're talking about the cops in there?
Yeah, the cop holding the bow. He did not pull it far enough back, even close. He barely had it pulled.
And to have that loose of a grip on a bowstring, it doesn't work like that.
No, it probably would have just tumbled to the ground if he let go of it at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also find the manipulation of metal dubious.
Well,
Never mind.
That's explained in universe, though, at least.
I speaking of the manipulation of metal, this is possibly...
No, I mean, seriously, the magic things that don't make sense, at least there's an in-universe reason for it. There's no in-universe reason that a lightly held bow will go through 2 human body chests. Cavities.
You think that's important?
It just could have
distracting.
It could have been blocked better. I just think that they could have designed that sequence to be more tense. Because as it happens, it's like, what? Wait, what?
Isn't it in slow-mo?
Confusing. Yeah.
No,
at that point?
Not the bow shot. The bow
Um,
shot just kind of happens. But
Okay. We don't need to hang on it. Just amusing.
I will say Magneto's use of powers in this moment is my favorite mutant power use in this entire movie. He
Same.
kills them with the only remaining photo of his parents.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just a use of his power. It is a
in a
character
locket?
moment. Yeah, the locket has his family. He is killing them for his family, using his family. I was like, oh, that's, there's symbolism there. Okay.
Oh, yeah. He's had to do that.
Despite the lazy direction, which is what I was really complaining about, not specifically the bow, but the fact that it was so lazily directed and blocked. That was my issue so much as more than the specific of the bow things. But it's absolutely the most powerful character moment in the entire film, I think.
Yeah.
And
then it's immediately in the rearview mirror for the rest of the movie.
Yeah. So back in Cairo, Apocalypse walks around in the city, completely blending in.
Well, he had a hood.
He sees a young street thief. It's Storm. He saves her from some street justice.
What would have been great is if Apocalypse was disguised the way the MCU characters disguised themselves. Just a hat and sunglasses and sometimes a hoodie. Yeah.
A logoless baseball cap.
Yeah. Sunglasses.
Look like you're attending a baseball game, not on the run.
I think it's Tony Stark.
So he saves her from some street justice. Then back in Washington, Charles flirts with Moira. She explains the whole Cairo thing, tells them the cult believers worship the first mutant, yada, yada, yada. She explains the whole concept of the movie. She tells Charles that
because he simply states that he has level 5 clearance. Like, okay.
Well, if you say so.
If you say so. Show me the papers.
Well,
if you can control minds, don't you have the highest clearance possible?
And I think that's what it was he was implanting the idea that he had the clearance, and she just accepted it because he used his abilities.
Yeah,
he mind freaked her.
Superman's her.
Yeah,
freaked her.
In Cairo, we learned that Mystique is a folk hero to the young mutants of the world. They see her as, a hero standing up for them.
Who is making these posters? These propaganda posters? Is there like a mutant publisher who's like, what we should do? We should print millions of these and send them around the world.
She got them on Redbubble.
Yeah, that's what it felt like. I think she ordered it online. She's like, it needs to be in Arabic.
Also, she went down to Kinko's.
Yeah, she got his business cards that say Mystique, mutant folk hero.
I know this is a lot to ask, but I would have enjoyed her speaking Arabic at some point. Like, to him, I would have enjoyed Apocalypse learning Arabic, being like, what language is this? What year is this?
You're right. They never made Mystique smarter. They developed her ambition and her character more, but you're right. Like, she never, as she grew, she didn't.
That's my mistake. I meant to say Storm. Storm being in Egypt, she should be speaking the native tongue. Because is she an American?
I thought she was.
Person?
Initially, she was trying to speak to him in Arabic.
Oh, okay.
Or something.
Maybe I missed that.
And then, like, the third language she chose was English.
Like, and then she just stuck with English.
Yeah.
Her third language. Hey, he doesn't understand me, so I'm going to speak to him in my third language exclusively from here on out. I mean, I understand why, but like the fact that it was distracting to me that I had to, that like the moment they decide that the rest of the movie is going to be in English, like it's just again how clumsy and lazy this filmmaking is.
It removed the man out of time element from Apocalypse, which would have been an interesting thing for him to be kind of stuck in, like like
all unfrozen caveman lawyer style.
Yeah.
What's that steel bird?
I'm just a simple Egyptian man god.
Well, and it would have been cool to have somewhere between unfrozen caveman lawyer and Captain America, unfrozen World War II soldier. But we we got a guy who woke up from a fucking nap. He's like, oh God, I'm thirsty. I'm kind of grumpy. You have something to eat?
I gotta pee and then I need a drink. But yeah, and he learns English from the TV, and again speaks just in English, but also like I know it's magic, but like I don't know, it just felt so lazy. Like I'm gonna suck from the television airwaves everything I need to know.
Which I could have seen him explain it afterwards or something. Been like, human minds transfer information through electricity. It's the same. Boom.
But it is lazy because when it was done really, really well? Ultron.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Same concept.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and also it would have been hilarious, like, because it depends. It's 1983. There's no internet. It's just whatever's being broadcast at that moment. So it's a lot of like, I'm learning. Come and knock on my door.
I must destroy Mr. Furley.
Yeah, he should have been full vision quips and one-liners. That would have been really funny.
It's
Like,
like
why does he keep
dynamite.
quoting TV? Like,
He keeps saying I'm a stinker in a weird Brooklyn accent.
Why does he call me
Autobots,
Mr.
roll out.
Yeah, why is he calling me Mr. Cotta?
yeah, that would have been really funny. Like, just referencing things from television throughout this movie.
Yeah, he's like, I saw the Beatles on that song.
And it would have given his character.
Character. Yeah, he had no character.
Yeah, instead he was just like, I'm bad. Ooh.
And I'm back.
We will quote from the children's cartoon as much as possible.
Sit, you boo, sit. Good dog.
Because, literally a third of Apocalypse's lines are straight from X-Men 96.
Yeah.
Like, it's bad. It's real bad.
He's the most characterless villain.
He makes Malekith seem deep.
Yeah, it is. This was such a waste of Oscar Isaac.
It was. I hate when that happens.
Well, and I will say to his credit, he is actually acting at every moment.
He's trying to be Apocalypse.
Dude is running on a treadmill the whole time. He's not going anywhere. It sucks. I feel so bad for him. He's got great form, but you're not moving.
Treadmill.
Yeah.
Right.
So anyways, he tells Storm he's
all we see of his face is like he's got less of his face exposed than Batman does in the fucking cowl.
Yeah.
He's all prosthetic.
So anyways, he tells Storm he's going to cleanse the world and create a new society around mutants. And then he makes her more powerful and her hair turns white because he gives her a Kiki Spring Dew.
Yeah, he's like ambush makeover.
This twice in this movie he changed someone's haircut.
He's all, I don't have hair, so I live vicariously.
That's a toxic workplace. That's definitely a red flag. I don't like your hair, so I'm going to change it.
Could you be less fat at work?
I am also the first barber.
It would have been funny if it had been a sequence. He's like, so what are you doing later? He's like putting the tinfoil things in her hair.
How are the kids?
I think that Storm's motivation and her choice, quote unquote choice, because there's not a lot of choosing, to join him is non-existent. He says, I'm going to cleanse this world and make it good for mutants. And she's like, okay.
Yeah.
That's it. She's not like, they killed my parents because they were mutants. My parents abandoned me because I'm a mutant. I'm on my own because I'm a mutant. That sounds awesome. Just, okay. She's like Chad in the SNL sketches. It's like,
exactly.
Sure, I'll do it. That sounds fine.
Back in Berlin, Mystique and Nightcrawler visit Caliban, a mutant who gives them fake papers for traveling. Seems a little pointless for Nightcrawler.
And for her.
And for her.
Why does she need papers?
She can change her appearance. She can, like, come on.
It's like, the blue lady's on the no-fly list, but the pilot of this plane isn't.
Well, and we know that she can steal people's credentials and their identity because she's done it in every movie up until this one.
Well, yes, and we know that she can simply make her, like, she can look at somebody who has their, like, a badge on and change her appearance to look like them with a badge on.
That's true. That's true. But I mean, we've seen her a number of times do the like multi-step steal of an identity where she's like, I'm the janitor. Hey, nice to see you in the bathroom. I'm going to knock this guy unconscious in the bathroom, steal his badge and his identity. Because, I don't know if she can scan her, whatever part of her body comes off as a badge.
Yeah, all of that is so weird. All of that is so weird still. Still, there were multiple points where like clothing came off her and never went back on, but she had changed into that clothing. So it's like, what is
well, it's like the Wolverine claws thing where they get cut off in the first movie. It's like, was that a finger or a toe?
And then they're back.
Yeah.
All right. So they decide they're going to go to America because she learns about Eric in Poland. She's going to go find Charles. In America, Scott gets his special sunglasses. He tries to flirt with Jean.
Those are just Ray-Bans with a ruby that Beast had laying around. He's like, I had a ruby.
Ruby quartz.
Yeah, ruby quartz.
Ruby quartz.
Well, that's
Like,
why they have
okay.
to go to the mall because he needs to hit a kiosk and get some Oakleys or some sunglasses hut.
I need to get some better frames.
Oh my God. In 30 Rock, James Marsden is Liz's boyfriend, and the only credit card he has is his sunglasses credit card. He's like, they upped it to 80. Let's go to dinner. Cyclops again.
Yeah, Mystique shows up. Hank shows her around the place. Back in Berlin, Caliban is visited by Apocalypse and Storm. Is he killed at this point? I don't care.
Caliban? No, Caliban survives. He cooks his gun. This is the first of like 4 lines that we get from Psylocke.
Yeah,
I know where those mutants are.
Okay. This was the second. She did have a line previously when Nightcrawler and Raven were there.
Mm-hmm. So all right.
It took me till the second time I watched it to even notice. Are these people bothering you? The gist of it.
I think she's on a bus.
People bothering you.
We see Apocalypse teleport, which is cool. The purple bubble, I dig it. I dig the purple bubble.
Sure.
I like it.
Sure.
We see him augment her powers, which is cool when her blade thing gets big.
And brighter.
Yeah.
When my blade thing gets big, it gets brighter too.
But he is just Apocalypse is just choosing the first mutants he sees.
Yeah.
He's not like conveniently choosing like, oh, I need somebody who's good at like crowd control. Right. I need somebody who's good at like, tricking people.
He didn't bother to seek out anorexic Autumn Rolfson.
Yeah. Well,
to be famine.
I assume there's a lot of turnover. So he's gonna need to be filling these positions constantly.
It's like I thought this was data entry.
Yeah.
What?
I lied on my resume. I don't know how to do Excel.
I don't know how to do this.
Caliban knows who everybody is. He's the guy with all the information. I don't know how they didn't just linger on Caliban and go like, I need your whole list. I can control minds. Control minds, but he's like, he can manipulate people either through like force or coercion.
And he's living Cerebro.
Yeah.
He's the living Cerebro. He can detect mutants. I don't know what his range is, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Very valuable mutant to have.
He was super wasted.
This to me was a huge lazy moment. Just getting to Caliban and being like, oh shit, Caliban, the Seeker. He's the guy who he tracks mutants. That's his thing. And Apocalypse is like, nah. You can't go outside in the daylight. You're not very useful to me.
He can even look at a person and tell if they're lying about being a mutant. You know, like very powerful.
Yeah. So
instead, he takes Sword Lady.
Yeah.
Psychic Sword, new band name.
Back in Westchester, Scott, Jean, Nightcrawler, and Rando go to the mall. Who was she? Who was that?
That's Jubilee.
That was Jubilee.
She shoots.
That's wasted.
Sparks and plasma out of her hands. She was one of the coolest characters in the 90s cartoon.
That is a super wasted character right there.
She was Wolvie's sidekick.
And she gets teased at so many points in these Bryan Singer movies. She had scenes that were filmed that they just didn't do like the effects on, where she shoots plasma out of her fucking hands. It's so disappointing. Her and Gambit have just been screwed by Bryan Singer.
Totally.
Have any of you seen the behind the scenes one? I'm thinking specifically of the end of this, where there's a lot of of Hank McCoy and Pietro Evan Peters like messing with Jennifer Lawrence. She's like giving her big speech and she's like it's like nothing you've ever seen before. And Beast behind her is like, you won't fucking believe it. It's hilarious. You should just Google it. It's on YouTube.
I didn't watch the behind the scenes, but I now that you mentioned it, made me think of there was a character design for Apocalypse that the same special effects house that did Iron Man and Batman versus Superman and all of these really well done costumes. Man, I don't know why they chose to go with this weird Power Rangers villain, Star Trek villain look, because
Oh my God.
he was matte gray and kind of robotic looking, and had and not robotic, but had angular things on his face that looked like the cartoon and the comic origin.
Yeah,
Seeing that existed made me so frustrated with the character design they settled on in this movie.
He really does look like a purple Cardassian in this.
Yeah, he looks like a Cardassian. Or who was the Zordon guy from Power Rangers? The bad guy?
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead.
He's shiny. He just looks shiny the whole time. And I'm like, why is he shiny?
And if he was size appropriate, it would work.
Yeah.
Better. But on little Oscar Isaac, who's not very tall, it looked like there was way too much on his body. So much weird armor and
Yeah.
Thanos wore less armor.
So then Apocalypse finds Angel, and there's a weird heavy metal magazine reference that goes on.
So you know what song is playing? That's off of Kill 'Em All. It's Metallica. They're playing The Four Horsemen. It's kind of cool. Metallica had that and Creeping Death were their two Old Testament songs. They're two of my favorite Metallica songs ever. I loved this moment when I first saw it in the theater. That's one of my favorite bands, especially from when I was a teenager. But just to
Kill 'Em All is a great album.
It is an incredible album. And so is Ride the Lightning. I'm a bigger Ride the Lightning fan than Kill 'Em All, but we won't get into that. But just hearing that, I was like, this is a cool choice. It's very on the nose, but if there was ever a thing to be on the nose with, it's using the Four Horsemen as Apocalypse is gathering his Four Horsemen. He's drinking vodka like Metallica,
Oh, yeah, no, and they make a metal, the whole metal thing. And he literally does the pose from Heavy Metal Magazine, the Heavy Metal movie.
These blades can cut through anything. When he lands on the ground, those blades do nothing to the wood that he is standing on.
So meanwhile, Hank tells Mystique that he wants to team up to be X-Men, not just students. Then back in Poland, Eric shows up to kill all the metal workers, but Apocalypse arrives just then, does it for him, and takes him to Auschwitz, where Eric gets in touch with his Semitism and learns to harness his power to get metal out of the ground.
You know where he would love to go? Auschwitz.
I'm going to take you on a trip to Auschwitz.
Compare this to Storm, who was told, we're going to cleanse the world and make it a better one. And she's like, okay. With Magneto, he's like, dude, this is what humanity did to you.
To you, yeah.
Do you want to join me? Yeah,
so,
he is convinced.
With Storm, he said something he said cleansed. The world needs to be cleansed in a language that she didn't understand. And then he
said saved.
Then he says saved.
Yeah.
So he's tricking her, but also the power augmentation.
Yeah, but
so when I wondered why, when she was being confronted by the merchants in the marketplace, that she didn't just fly away. And I guess they're trying to imply that Apocalypse gave her the power of flight.
Yeah, that makes sense in this context.
Yeah, makes sense.
I'll buy it.
So, all right.
Which was kind of lame.
Yeah.
I like Storm.
Yeah.
I like Storm as a character, and making her get half of her powers from this short purple dude was disappointing.
Yeah. Having her be a pickpocket. He took away all the authority and agency from that character.
Absolutely. Back in Ohio, we catch up with Pietro Maximoff.
Who also hasn't aged.
Also has not aged in 10 years, at all.
I bet his metabolism is different.
You'd think he'd age faster.
At least we didn't
like a dog.
At least we didn't see him in this same timeline looking older at a time near when this is supposed to be taking place.
Yeah, that's true.
So Charles and Moira arrive back in New York. They find Mystique waiting for them. She tells them Magneto's gonna do stuff. He goes into Cerebro to find them. He does, but Magneto's with Apocalypse. Apocalypse takes over Charles's psychic link, uses it to take control of human minds over the world, and launches all the world's nuclear weapons into space. This is where we get our Stan Lee cameo.
I like this.
Is it our most boring Stan Lee cameo yet, or is it
It's
appropriate?
Well, it's also Stan's wife.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah,
his actual wife.
Yeah.
I like the sequence because we get the turning of the keys, we get the confusion of everybody realizing what they've done, and it's too late to undo it, kind of thing. I love that because it establishes the stakes at a different level than we had initially anticipated.
Well, and even though Apocalypse, launched them, it's to prove that we're capable of our own destruction without anyone to come and cleanse. Like we could cleanse our planet ourselves. It would suck.
But we could.
Well, arguably, he made the world a safer place.
That is arguable,
for the rest of humanity after the events of this movie. I mean, we'll get there, but there are no more nuclear weapons.
That is true.
Then again,
Superman cared to do that.
Then again, gravity is a thing, so somebody needs to go get those and throw them into the sun. Where's Superman when they need him?
Oh, I guess Superman did do that in one. He put them all in
a
net.
Movie about it, actually.
Yeah. The net, though, the funny ass net.
Giant net, yeah. Havoc destroys Cerebro. Charles is knocked unconscious, and Apocalypse opens up a portal and shows up.
How convenient is okay? Oh, never mind. Sorry, we're not there yet.
Okay.
Havoc destroying Cerebro.
Yeah. So then Havoc tries to destroy Apocalypse, but he misses and causes a big explosion that destroys the entire mansion.
How convenient is this shot? Of all this is a 1 in a million shot, kid. It hit the engine that had the door open, and it was exactly where Apocalypse was standing.
And also super, super convenient that Quicksilver arrived that exact second.
Yeah.
This is the most Rube Goldberg device seen in this entire movie, possibly in the entire X-Men series.
Yeah.
And it's fun to see him do his thing, but it was. Oof.
It's fun to see him do his thing, but it also leads to vast questions as to why he wasn't doing his thing throughout the rest of the movie. After they're freed from the Faraday cage bullshit.
And why wasn't he there earlier? He could have just been there earlier, and they could have been dealing with something else and said just wait here.
And I think it speaks to his lone wolf kind of personality.
Yeah.
But anyways, isn't it in this sequence between Apocalypse and Charles where we actually see Apocalypse get larger?
No, not yet.
No, that's way later.
Okay, but it is this movie. All right.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
So and also why Sweet Dreams? It thematically means nothing to the sequence.
Yeah, Time in a Bottle was inspired.
They're just repeating it. It is cool to see Quicksilver do Quicksilver stuff, but it's just a retread of the first movie done not as well.
Yeah. I think it's what he's listening to on his Walkman.
Well, was he wearing the Walkman in the scene?
I thought so. Thought he always had it on or around his neck.
Because I don't remember him wearing it in this. Maybe it's just not as obvious. Because in the first,
maybe I'm wrong. I didn't. It
was well placed. They show him taking his time to put his headphones on in Days of Future Past, where he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go for a jog." Put on my music.
Thoreau's right. Just like the history tunnel, we saw it. It's lazy.
Yeah, it's been done.
And it's in my mind, it's one of those things. People loved the last time we did this. Let's do it again.
Yep, exactly.
But bigger and faster.
Yeah. So, all right, he saves everybody except Havoc, who was apparently too close. Yeah. Oh God, Time After Time would have been a great one. Yeah.
That would have been hilarious too.
Yeah. Although
Pink
Time
Floyd's
After Time, 83. I don't think it was out yet. I think Time After Time was in 84 or 85. Not that that's, although it's a new timeline, so maybe Cyndi Lauper's album came out earlier in this X-Men world.
Pink Floyd, Time.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Time.
Or
You know?
or either like time keeps on slipping into the future. I don't know. There's a million
Yeah,
things.
Steve Miller Band. That'd been. Yeah, I think Time After Time would have been funny though, because it would have been
Yeah.
a weird balance.
Yeah.
Or even a song having to do with speed and
Yeah.
quickness.
Yeah. So, anyways, it was 83. Okay, thanks, Andrea. Scott and Jean arrive back from the mall. Scott discovers his brother's dead. Colonel Stryker shows up. He uses a sound cannon to knock everyone unconscious and captures Mystique, Quicksilver, Moira, and Beast. Jean, Nightcrawler, and Scott sneak aboard the helicopter and go with them.
How does humanity have all of these mutant suppressing tools already?
We do have sonic cannons.
True. But
Yeah.
but they are mutant suppressants because they don't affect any of the soldiers on the ground. Like they
Right.
seem to target mutants in particular, kind of like the Faraday cage thing.
Just like the cage, yeah. You're right.
Yeah.
I think it's just like there was the need, so the military is like advancing at a rapid pace in that world
Yeah.
as compared to ours.
I would have liked some one-off line about like, oh yeah, thanks to all those investments after the Trask debacle.
Right.
Yeah, we stepped up our game. We know how
Yeah.
dangerous you guys are.
We gained
might not
access
be able
to
to-
all of his research.
We can't kill you, but we can imprison you.
Yeah.
Boom. Stakes established. Like,
Yeah. It would have.
I'd like, excuse me, sorry. I'd like to point out that in our previous X-Men movies featuring Jean Grey, and in the comics, Jean Grey at an early age was not very good at telepathy.
Mm,
yeah.
yeah.
It was her weak spot as far as the tele things go. Her big thing was telekinesis. And right out of the gate, she's blocking people's vision. She's blocking people's minds and reading people's minds. And
the first thing we see her do is communicate with Scott
Exactly.
telepathically. Yeah.
Yeah. So
And maybe it's timeline manipulation, but we have seen the first time that they found Jean when Magneto and X went to her house and she was a child, and
Yeah.
then in a subsequent movie they go to find her and she's an adult.
Right. Well, okay. No, and also in this one, like it is it is timeline, but she was previously like that took place in the early 80s, and she was a child, like 12 years old. This one, she's different age, but also we saw Angel in a previous movie, and he was a teenager in the 2000s.
But
that's a huge timeline difference. He was born like 30 years earlier.
Well, his parents decided to have a baby after that whole Cold War crisis ended.
maybe it was Dark Phoenix, but she kills or injures her parents in that car accident. However, again, the time she's first introduced in the Singer movies, she's a child living with her parents.
Yep.
They go find her.
Yeah.
Later on, they find her as an adult.
Yeah, that was X3.
Right.
That when she was a child, yeah.
No, but then in Dark Phoenix, she's a child. She's controlling the radio in the car, and then they swerve over. They're about to hit, and she flips the truck.
Huh.
So, new story. Anyway.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And like I said with Angel, like he was born 30 years earlier in this timeline now, which is weird because they didn't change the timeline until after he already would have been born in this universe.
Good point.
Anyways, meanwhile, on a soundstage, in front of some generic-looking CGI rocks, Apocalypse uses Charles' brain to transmit a message to every person on Earth.
Man, is this a reshot scene or what?
Oh God, yeah. Oh yeah.
There was a art, like what do they call that when you have design art, concept art, where he had a spaceship that was his home base, or not a spaceship, but like some sort of floating, flying bubble looking ship thing. I wish that had existed instead of this sequence.
Yes.
Because they could have just had them teleport to and from it as it's traveling around the planet. A moving mobile base.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that makes him even more threatening.
Yeah,
So,
totally.
So then in the secret base, Jean's got a nightcrawler sneak around to find their friends who are imprisoned in a pit type thing with a field around it to prevent them from using their powers. It's revealed at this point that Magneto is Pietro's dad. Apocalypse.
Which is played for humor.
Yes, it is. It's played for humor, and it's also really weird because they're like 5 years apart in age.
Yeah.
The actors are. Apocalypse transmits his message. He tells the mutants of the world to join him, and the humans tells them they're all going to die. This serves no real purpose. This serves no purpose to the plot other than to let Charles tell Jean where they are. Other than that, it served no plot purpose.
Yeah. So, yeah, this drives me nuts because I was thinking, I was like, well, I see the necessity for it because he has to tell someone. But couldn't he, if he just like told someone in town to use a phone to call somebody? You know? Like he could have called Quicksilver on the phone and had him not involved or something. Like there's a way to do that without him having to do this weird message to every human being on the entire planet at the same time. You have to shuffle around some parts, but that would have made more sense for him to be covertly acting against Apocalypse instead of slipping a message in for Jean alone.
Yeah.
It's thin.
So, yeah,
Very
it's super thin, super lazy. Jean and company find Logan, who's being controlled, is currently Weapon X, and clearly wasn't working out for this particular cameo.
He's been trapped in a cage. I get it. You know, you get a little flabby trapped in a cage. Not Jean, that man is flabby at all in this movie.
No, he's just not jacked like he was, like he usually is.
I was gonna say this is the one time he's not more jacked in the following movie than he was in the previous one.
Yes, yeah, exactly. And that's because this was obviously in between Wolverines, and they were like, "Can you come in for a day?" Sure. Anyways, Jean uses him as a diversion, then frees his mind, and the rest follows. He runs off into the forest.
Yeah, he removes all of his Weapon X gear, which is cool to see the really crappy Weapon X design. I hate that design so much.
Oh God, it was so bad.
He's Locutus of Borg.
And the plugs and everything. And she's like, "You're free, boy. Go." So they rescue the captured mutants and escape in a secret military helijet while Magneto uses his powers to disrupt Earth's magnetic field to make every metal object in the Earth go up into the air.
So their
what is he doing?
I have so many questions about him and Apocalypse, what they're doing at these moments in the movie. But okay, so before we leave Stryker's base, look, flight suits. You said you wanted an army or whatever, she says to Beast. Can you fly this thing? How convenient are these two things? Like
super convenient.
They should have gotten on a really shitty plane or something. Like it should have been like a couple of helicopters or something.
And when we see them in their flight suits later, they're all perfectly fitted.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah. Well, and Mystique wears one. Why?
Why?
Her power is to look like different things. You would think that she'd be like, no, I can't wear armor. That will detract from my ability.
Yeah. And it should have been like an old decommissioned plane or something. Do you know what I mean? To add a little more drama to it and give it that like Han Solo vibe. Like, I can fly any fucking can.
Stryker's team didn't show up in that fucking plane. They showed up in a helicopter.
A regular old helicopter, yeah.
Exactly. Why didn't they use the fucking badass plane to go capture the most dangerous mutant in the world?
Because in movies, helicopters can do anything, apparently.
Yeah.
Yes.
Fly in sleet and rainstorm.
Be right by the school, right when they needed to be there.
So the mutants arrive in Cairo, and we get a 30-minute CGI fight. 30 minutes this end fight was of bullshit CGI, flashy purple fields, blue ray bullshit. Psylocke, Storm, and Angel, they fight them while Apocalypse begins a ceremony to transmit his brain into Professor X's body. When he finishes it, he'll have the power to control every mind on Earth.
I feel like the way to use Magneto's powers in this moment is not just to take all of the iron from the Earth and spin it up and destroy cities. It should have been bring it here to make a MacGuffin, to make some sort of antenna or beam or something. Would have made more sense than, like, I don't know, blend the Earth with your powers, Magneto.
Yeah,
I know you can do it.
Just make it all go up into the air for a little while and be crazy.
And where they were fighting, all the rubble and ruin, it looked like the Danger Room. It looked like they were practicing.
It's such a big like soundstage rubble fest. Like, it's
Also,
the most boring shit ever.
Set design and power sets. There are a number of moments where they are all fighting in this rubble, and all around them are large chunks of metal, cars. At one point, they're in like a weaving, like a loom factory. What would you call that? But whatever. Where they have all of the string for a loom is on a metal rack, and it was so distracting to me because all I could think was, isn't Magneto picking up every little piece of metal and shredding it into little bits and spinning it around in the air?
He could have used that to wrap somebody up in.
Yeah. Or I mean, just it would have been picked up as flotsam or whatever, it would have been
right. When he's doing his
because he's not like targeting what he's picking up. He's just like metal,
all the
float.
metal. He's channeling his
the metal that does get picked up is real haphazard
and random.
And also not very sharp. Like there's the scene when they appear at his bubble and they're like touching the bubble. I would have loved for them to touch the bubble and be like, oh shit, I forgot, those are little tiny bits of steel, ouch. I have my hand is covered in cuts.
Does anybody have any tweezers?
Instead it's like a birdshot rifle from the 1800s.
Like
the little pellets.
Everything has like nice smooth edges. Magneto is very gentle with his metal tearing.
Of course. So all right, let's see. Mystique tries to talk Eric into being good again. He's like, but I'm so sad. And they rescue the professor and Marianne just seconds before the transfer is complete. But
and the rest.
He lost his hair in the process.
I love the shot of Kurt Wagner pulling him out of that space between their bodies, where all of a sudden you get that like I don't know what they call the shot style where you're on a trolley and you're zooming in as you're reeling backwards.
Tracking. I know.
The vertigo shot.
The vertigo shot. Thank you. That moment, it's CGI, but you can see that they are on a green screen doing that to their bodies as they're moving. I love that shot. That is one of the coolest shots in this entire movie.
That was cool. Yeah.
But it's in the middle of this 30 minutes of bullshit, and it's immediately it doesn't matter.
No, nothing in this matters.
Yeah.
So
nothing.
Anyways, so Professor X realizes he still has a link with Apocalypse. They have a mind fight in a dream world.
Why hadn't he been doing that the whole time?
Yeah. Why?
That should have been happening for 15 minutes before this started.
Yeah, absolutely. But at least in the dream world, he still has his long, luxurious, flowing locks.
That's true, and he can stand on his own two legs.
Yes.
So
Apocalypse is winning the dream fight. Magneto switches sides, as does Storm. Even with them attacking Apocalypse at the same time as Cyclops, Apocalypse is still too strong. Jean Grey joins in, and all of them together, they're able to destroy Apocalypse, and there's a Dark Phoenix tease.
Well, and we get Charles finally letting go of his control over Jean. Let go, Jean. Let go. And she's like, what do you mean? Just let go, Jean. Help me. Help me. Not like, melt this motherfucker, Jean. He's gonna kill us all. Like, how is he still so gentle in this moment? You'd think that he is like about to die. Like, I'm going to give you specific instructions. Use your power to its fullest extent, and maybe you can help turn the balance. Not 2 words and then 2 more words. Like, he's an eloquent dude.
I kind of liked how Apocalypse was mind fighting and physically fighting at the same time. And then when Jean joins the fray, she does the same thing. She goes in to fight Apocalypse in Charles's mind while burning everything up outside.
Well, and she removes him from the mind battlefield immediately.
Yeah.
And then takes it to the real world. I wish that these sequences had been better structured and arranged, because man, that shit would have been so cool the moment she walks through the damn door in his mind. That was cool. That's a cool concept, but it just looked so TV dumb. It was just dumb.
Yeah,
Like,
it was. It was super, super dumb.
Yeah.
Then, okay, so Charles gives Moira her memories back because she's the only woman he's spoken to in 20 years, I guess. Then sometime later, Jean and Magneto rebuild the school. Pietro decides not to tell Magneto he's his son just yet. Magneto says goodbye to Professor X. The young mutants train. They're not students anymore. They're X-Men. They do some practice fighting with Sentinels, and we roll credits.
I don't understand why Pietro doesn't just tell him.
Yeah,
in this moment, there should have had like a post-credit scene of like, hey man, so do you know my mom? She was a gypsy or something, you know, like, because that's like she is like a Roma wandering mutant in the comics.
She was an Ohio gypsy.
Yeah, those Ohio gypsies.
Like so many.
She's
Yeah,
like,
I don't
"We
know.
left
Maybe
Europe
it's
on a train."
the same situation as meeting your hero. Like you're afraid it's going to go badly.
Yeah.
You're afraid they're going to be an asshole who doesn't care. Maybe.
But I would say that would be a nice way to seal his redemption arc of like, you lost your family, but you really didn't. Instead, we get you lost your family. Sucks balls, doesn't it? Like,
yeah.
Good point.
Yeah. I thought that was really going to be the thing. Like, oh, I do still have family, but
yeah.
Right. In an after-credit sequence, some guys from Essex Corp retrieve some Weapon X blood. The end.
And X's Corp is Mr. Sinister, as we know, and we never saw.
Yeah.
Well, good news is Disney owns Fox now, and they can do whatever the hell they want with Mr. Sinister, and I trust them to make him look cool. And menacing.
We don't see him, but he's a main factor in New Mutants, that fairly new movie. They're being held by the X's Corp. Right?
Yeah.
I thought that was just one nurse, but I didn't watch it.
She works for him. Yeah.
Yeah. I had two unanswered questions we haven't addressed yet. One was, wasn't Mystique Stryker at the end of the previous movie?
Yeah. She had Wolverine in her custody as Stryker. Did she take him to Alkali Lake and leave him there?
And then like the real Stryker wandered back. I was like, oh, hey, I got Wolverine, I guess. Like,
right, he's like, that's convenient.
At their summer house at Alkali Lake.
Yeah. And that the other one was, when was Magneto in Ohio in the 50s? Like, he was searching for Nazis. Did he stop off in Ohio at some point?
A famous Nazi was captured in Ohio, but
we talked about this during Civil War.
It has nothing to do.
That's right. Okay, good point.
Yeah.
So,
but that very well may have been when it happened.
Nazis are everywhere.
It's true, especially now. I want to get back to this archery bullshit. I'm just kidding. All right.
So
no, I have no unanswered questions because none were risen, except it was all stupid and lazy.
It was. Any last thoughts before we rank it, guys?
No.
Yeah, no.
All right, let's take a look here. I have highlighted for us other X movies. Our lowest ranking one that isn't Wolverine Origins is X-Men Last Stand at 66. Do we think it's better? X-Men Origins Wolverine is at 93. Do we think it's better or worse than Last Stand?
We forgot to mention this. When the kids leave the mall, they just left an airing of Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
And the third one is always the worst one. Wink at the camera.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's in Origins area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
mean-
as bad as Origins, maybe a tiny bit better, but
Is this as bad as Batman Forever?
Um,
I think it's arguably worse.
I think it's worse.
I think it's worse than Batman Forever. I think it's. Kick-Ass 2. Yeah, I think it's I mean,
Let's put it
League of-
right next to Wolverine, man. Let's put dirt in this movie's eye. Let's put it below Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Put it at 93. All right, what do you think, Al?
Yeah, that's cool. I was still entertained by this movie as dumb as it was, but I don't know. That seems like as good a place as any.
All right. So if we're all good with that, then we're going to put it at number 93.
It was okay. It was loads better than Origins Wolverine.
Yeah.
I thought it was too, but I have a hard time saying it's better than Amazing Spider-Man 2 also.
Yeah.
Same.
It suffered in the same way as Amazing Spider-Man 2 did, and the same way that Wolverine did.
In a lot of the same ways, yeah.
Too much shit and really lazy to make it all fit.
Yep. So, all right, that's where that bad boy is going, which means we are done with X-Men Apocalypse, which means it's time to look ahead to next week's movie. Next week.
Oh, no.
Yes, the dread. Next week on Harmless Phosphorescence, we will be watching Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows.
I think they've been out of the shadows a good amount of time.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's it. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out with us. This has been your host, Rose Smiley, and it's true. The third movie is always the worst, except when the fourth is the worst. We got Dark Phoenix coming, guys.
Oh, man.
I'm Josh Cece, and what the hell is a mall?
I'm Brian Lesh, and I'm going to go touch my TV for some learning.
I'm Alaric Weber, and I still live in my mom's basement, but
Aw. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time. Bye.